Hi everyone, my name is Jason from shishaintheuk.co.uk and the sampling room. Today this is actually an amalgamation of the two segments I do, because I'll be talking about the tobacco storage and also shisha storage as well, from any time from obviously now to long term. Alright, see you in a minute. Okay, to start off with, I'd like to talk about the shisha storage. Right, what I'll do is I'll show you my stash to start off with. And right, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. I'm starting to reorganise. I mean, I do have a lot of shisha. So obviously, when it's new, you haven't opened it, you're okay to just store it straight in the tin. What I always like to do in the shelf, I'm storing it in, on the cupboard I'm storing it in, put down these paper towels, because you can still get leakage even if you do store it correctly. Right, what I do, see these, especially with the gooey tobaccos, I like to just get a normal like zip bag. I mean, you can buy them online for cheap as chips, and I put it in there. And also you can get these from your local takeaway. Whenever you get a takeaway, keep it, wash the tub out, and you're good to go, really. So I like to do a double wrap, that type of thing, for most of them, unless I'm constantly using it. But then you can pretty much store that for absolutely ages after that as well. I mean, you don't not necessarily really want to age shisha, but I mean, it's good to go. I mean, that's one I haven't, and look, it leaks out like a good one. I mean, Tangiers, you haven't really got an option, you have to repackage it. Starbuzz, you aren't too bad, but what is a good idea also, if you don't want to put them in these, put them in, obviously put them back in there, but in that zip seal bag as well. I mean, these type of things, don't have to worry too much. I mean, look, I haven't even opened that and it's already leaking. So, and that is very much good to throw away, unfortunately. The Hookafina ones, I've actually got, as you can see there, I've got it inside a bag there. Sorry, bag inside the container. I mean, it's not a bad stash, I have to admit, but every now and then you do want to go over it, make sure, obviously, if they are leaking, you mop up the leak. And I have a lot of these in here as well. I mean, you get them in with anything you buy, these little silica packets. Just every time you get a packet, don't dump it, just chuck it in there, and it's good to soak up some of the moisture in the air in there as well, which also helps you. I mean, if you do get a leak, that also prevents ants as well, because it is very, very sticky, gooey stuff. You don't want to cause ants. I mean, these ones do tend to be all right, as long as you make sure the seal is done. On the old Fumari ones, make sure you do, clamp up the seal tight. These ones, I mean, you can leave it in the tin, but the only thing is, when you just leave it in the tin without anything inside it, more often than not, you do get a leak regardless. I mean, the same goes for, oh no, steam stones, they tend to be alright anyway. Have I got any open? Yes. And there goes everything. The alpaca as well. I mean, they haven't got a bad seal on, but they do tend to have a leak anyway, and you can never ever find it because they've got an internal pack as well. So make sure you clasp up the internal pack and you clasp up the lid as well. Cardboard ones, you've got to reseal them regardless, otherwise they will leak, and they often leak anyway. I mean, look at that. But I mean, if you're not all that bothered to buy it, I mean, you can just dump it anyway, because I mean, they're only cheap packets, but obviously they're okay if you haven't opened them. Right, if you'd like to know more about it, I mean, you can put them in jars. If you've got like an old jam jar or whatever, make sure you put it in like the dishwasher, or make sure you soak it overnight, make sure it hasn't got any residual flavours or smells or anything like that. I mean, same goes for these really, but the seal isn't always that good. You can use mason jars, but again, it's going to taint the mason jar, so you can't really reuse it. It doesn't too matter much about these. I mean, once it is completely tainted, you can't get any of the taste or the smell out. You can just always recycle it and get rid of it. Okay, Next, we will do the normal tobacco. Right, I'll now show you how to short and long term store your pipe tobaccos. Right, here we go. This is my current stash. Now I like to have all of my pipe cleaners in like an old coffee jar like that, rinsed out obviously. I do have this tin here. Now this tin obviously is very wet when I first got it because it is a Samuel Goldworth, so I have just left this in the tin for now to let it dry out a bit, and then when it's eventually got okay, I will put it into a jar. I'll go through that in a second. Now I like to have a big litre Kilner jar because for all the tobaccos you're not overly fussed with, or for any leaves you've got left over from this, that and the other, you put it into a separate thing and make a Franken blend. So basically a Franken tobacco, like Frankenstein, just literally just a ton of different things all mixed up, and then anyone can help themselves to it when they come to your house, and the blend will be different nearly every pinch you take. And I think that it's a nice little tobacco adventure, if you will. I do have a couple of these jars, these normal Kilner jars, and one there, especially for my aromatics. I tend to find they tend to be better in those, or the larger flakes. And I tend to have one of these type of things. So like for different samples, like with non-arrows, and one for my aromatics, one for latakias, so they don't cross-contaminate, and just bugger the flavour up on each one. And if I've got a big bulk of different samples, like here, these are just pure aromatics in here, just tons of different ones. And obviously you want to kind of keep the moisture in a little bit more, but you're not too bothered about the long-term storage, just to try and every now and then. A lot of them are quite old, but they've kept quite nicely. Yeah, I have to admit this one's a mess as well, to be honest with you. These are just my various snuffs and chewing tobaccos. Oh, that's actually Docker. That's another Docker. Another Docker. Yeah, those are my different chewing tobaccos and snuffs. And these are my other tobaccos. Now some of these have been here anywhere between a couple of months, well actually a month saying that, to all the way going about 2 years. So I mean they stay absolutely perfect humidity. Again, I will go through it. And this is just my junk drawer where I keep, every time you get a sample, keep this, because I mean if you go out at any point you want some pipe tobacco, you don't want to carry anything bulky, stick it in here, and it's okay if you dump it after that. I mean, I've got just a ton of these sealable bags, a big bulk of them there as well, which is always quite useful. And these haven't been opened, so some of these for cellaring and some of them for aging, and there's an empty pipe tin as well, so obviously just in case you want to take anything out with you at any point. And these are just some other various tobaccos I haven't opened. Right, back in a second. Right, so when you want to store tobaccos, so say if it is in perfect humidity at that time, if it's not, leave the tin open, leave the packet open for however long, get it to the humidity you want. And what I like to do, I mean you can, I haven't got one on me, you can just use a normal jar, like an old jam jar, but that doesn't tend to seal as well. So I get these, like old mason jars or ball jars, whatever you want to call them. You can buy Kilner ones. Kilner ones can be quite expensive though. Don't buy them from your local supermarkets, because you could be paying all the way up to £9 or £10 just for an empty jar. It's not worth it. Your best bet, just looking online, looking on the preserve websites and things like that, or if you've got a local preserve style or homeware shop or something like that, that is your best bet. This is actually an off-brand of a Kilner. This is a ½ litre, which I think is absolutely perfect for anywhere between 50 and 100 grams. That will just hold of tobacco, so that is perfect. So you've got to be careful with your flakes though. So for your flakes, have one of those resealable top Kilner ones that is pretty, with a flip top, like I showed you. Those ones, I mean that's got flake in it and that's kept in perfect shape. That's my Latakia flake. So, I'll basically show you. So this is my GQ Tobaccos blend. absolutely perfect humidity as always. Well, I'm hoping so. I'm about to put it away. Especially loose eye. Again, oh, I love that. Yeah, perfect humidity. So when it's perfect humidity, you want to get it put in a jar straight away. I mean, straight away. What I find very, very useful, get one of these. Kilner jar, Kilner funnel. Very, very good. I mean, however much they cost, they are invaluable. Because, invaluable? I think that's the correct term. Really valuable. You know, indispensable. What you can do, you can stick them in the dishwasher, do whatever, you can scrub them, whatever, doesn't matter, because they stay clean and whatever. When you buy these, obviously you can buy quite a lot of them all at once and you get them cheaper that way. But I would advise you just to give it a quick rinse out. Give it a quick rinse out, or you can stick it in the dishwasher or just put it in with your other washing up anyway, because that will get any residual smells out or whatever from the manufacturing process. Yep, that's great. Make sure, I mean, I can't stress it enough, make sure you dry it out thoroughly though, because you don't want your tobaccos getting damper or more moist after drying them out to your perfect humidity that you want it at. So, like that, absolutely easy, and pour your tobacco straight in. This way you're not spilling it over the side or whatever. Make sure you break it up. If it's like a shag if it's like a shag cut, or if it's like a ribbon cut, give it a bit of a break up, because you've got the wide, as I'm doing here, got the wideness to actually break it up into. Yeah, say if you're doing 100, that might be a bit of a squeeze, but these are absolutely perfect for a normal 50, because you don't want to be compressing it too much. You're not making a layer cake or anything. There we go, just like that. Put that on, and these are extremely good for long-term aging as well. I mean, you can put that away. That will seal eventually. That will seal, and that'll seal for absolutely ages. Now, the seals can obviously. Some people say you should replace them, but I've never actually replaced a seal yet, and it's never let me down. But they do say you should replace it every 2 to 3 uses, something like that. But I mean, it's fine. Obviously, that does that for now. But either way, now one thing I do. One thing I do is say, if you've got a jar, I don't like writing on it too much, because it can look a bit gaudy, or sticking a label on because it doesn't look very good. I actually take the label off of the packaging and I'll stick it straight on to the jar. That's a Cornell and Deal one. Goes all the way around. Absolutely great. I think that looks nice as well. You keep the art of the jar and whatnot. And here's why I do Dunhill, my Dunhill nightcap. This is a litre one, and I've always got a lot of Dunhill because I do like my Dunhills. So this is a Kilner brand, because obviously you really find it hard to get the off brands with the litres. So obviously that's why I got the Kilner. I mean, it wasn't that much more, to be honest with you. What I did there is I just I very gently peeled off, because obviously we're in the UK, so you get this all Europe. Very gently peeled off this bit. Most of these do, I mean, probably about 5 or 10% of the tins, they don't actually come off properly. But peel that off there. Make sure you start on this side, because what will happen is obviously it won't look very good here, but it doesn't make any difference because that doesn't look good anyway. The health warning section. Peel it up and then gently take it off, and then cut this crap off here. And you're left with something like that, which I think looks quite nice. It's absolutely sound, as I say. That will store for absolutely ages. Obviously, if you've just got a sealed tin like this and you want to age it and not open it and leave it for ages, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. That is what it's there for. But if you want to do your own aging, and if you want to dehumidify it a little bit first, do this. I mean, I do it for nearly every single one. I do have a couple still left in the tin, but just get a ton of these, and it looks nice as well. Right, I haven't got much of a display because mine's in the cabinet, but if you want to put it on a nice shelf or on a couple of shelves, something like that, that does look really nice, and it can look quite impressive, and it kind of looks kind of oldie worldy. type look, which I think is great anyway. So thank you very, very, very much for watching. I much appreciate it. If you've got any questions, please leave it in the comment below. Give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe as well. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.